The new national curfew is from 11 p.m. each night to 5 a.m. the next day. This came into effect on June 30 and will continue until July 31. At the same time, public gatherings should now not exceed 20 persons. Social distancing of at least 6 feet is still to be maintained by all persons. And don't forget that masks must still be worn by all persons in public spaces. COVID-19 is still amongst us, but life must go on. If we abide by these and other guidelines established by government, we are taking the first step to safeguard our safety and that of our loved ones. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. Starting today, students who will be sitting the upcoming CSEC and CAPE exams will go on a one-week break from the classroom. They had to return to school on July 3 to make their final exam preparations, but not without abiding by the various health protocols established by government. We visited a few schools across Jamaica to witness firsthand how they were adjusting to the new normal.
Students and staff in masks, making frequent stops at hand wash stations, conducting regular hand sanitization, and maintaining social distancing as much as possible. This is the new normal for students who have returned to school to prepare for this year's CSEC and CAPE exams, which begin on July 13. Before the partial reopening of secondary schools on June 8, government gave administrators numerous guidelines to safeguard the health of their students and staff against COVID-19.
The protocols that we have established here at the Mushet High School are the protocols that have been stipulated by the Ministry of Health along with the Ministry of Education. We have ensured that checks are done at the gate. We ensure both thermal scanning as well as sanitization is done at the gate. We ensure that additional wash stations have been established right across the school. There's one recently constructed at the front of the school, so as soon as the students enter the building, they are instructed to wash their hands and then be sanitized.
Similar protocols were also observed at the Bridgeport High School and Cedar Grove Academy in St. Catherine, as well as the St. Elizabeth Technical High School and Anchovy High School in St. James.
We have put in a number of hand wash stations, installed automated sanitizers. We have done proper cleaning up, arranged the classrooms so that we can facilitate physical distancing of at least 6 feet.
We have put in at key stations, water stations, so students can wash their hands as often as deemed fit. And we have allowed for several other things to take place. We have converted our cosmetology lab to an isolation lab, and that is at the front of the school. So just in case we have any cases with elevated temperatures after we do the second temperature check and it is still elevated, they will be taken to the isolation lab.
We have outlined our social distancing markers at strategic location. Outside of that, we have multiple sanitizer dispensers and soap dispensers, as well as paper towel holders, and those are mounted where each wash hand station is located.
But some of these new health protocols were hard to adjust to at first, so solutions had to be created.
The biggest challenge that we had was keeping the students away from each other, because what we realized is that they were anxious to get back into the space for many reasons, but they were anxious to be back in the space, anxious to see each other.
Students came in masks. Those who didn't have, we supplied them with masks. The only issue that we have is that they keep pulling the mask down, so we have to keep reminding them that they are to keep it on. And of course, the mask is not one of the most comfortable things to be in. So it is understandable if they'll pull it down to get some air. But we have made allocation for that, because we have said we have class slots of an hour And I've said to the teachers, have a period where you tell them, pull your mask down, take a breath for a minute or two, and then you put it back up.
The Ministry of Education has also asked schools to establish safe zones. These are open areas where students can go to safely remove masks if necessary.
So students can leave the classroom at any point when they feel that they need to just come out and take 5 minutes or so just to breathe. They exit the school buildings itself. They come here into the field area. As you can see, it's open, fresh air, and they can remove the mask safely while in the safe zone, and they can breathe while maintaining social distance even within the safe zone spaces.
In addition to arranging chairs and desks 6 feet apart, school administrators also implemented specialized timetables to ensure that classrooms and school compounds were not congested.
The students would have been informed and their parents would have been informed of this timetable, and so they will come in only if they have that subject. If it is that they have only one subject for the day, as soon as the subject is finished, then they are permitted to go.
What we have done also for our timetabling, we normally would have been on a shift system, but now we have a staggered system where one set comes in for 8:30 classes and the other set comes in for 9:30 classes. We have a staggered lunchtime as well to allow the different set of students to be served without congestion.
By all indications, the reopening of these schools, though challenging in some instances, has been successful. Not only are these students adequately equipped to safely sit their exams in coming weeks, they are trained in how to adapt to the changes in their learning environment.
Students turned out in their numbers, and I think they have reacted well to our policies and the procedures that are required to keep them safe. I think that bringing them back into school and into the care of their teachers is an opportunity for us to teach them how they should be behaving in a COVID environment. And so I think it will augur well for the general population in terms of getting young people to understand how they should behave.
I want to take this time out to salute everyone within the education sector, our teachers, our principals, our parents, and of course our young kings and queens who ensure that education continues, notwithstanding the time of COVID-19.
You've asked for it, and now it's here. The Jamaica Information Service has updated its mobile app. It's easier to navigate, loads even faster than before, talking about top speed, operates seamlessly across platforms, and we're a creative bunch, so it's much easier on the eyes. Now you have quick and easy access to news stories, television and radio features, and a variety of photos right at your fingertips. And you'll get push notifications when new content is uploaded. Download the app on your Apple and Android devices now and get news you can use. Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica on the go.
While CSEC and CAPE students were able to resume face-to-face learning over the past few weeks, the majority of Jamaica's student population were still only being engaged through online learning. In our next feature, we highlight how the kind donation of one corporate entity has helped to ensure that no child is left behind as they learn from the comfort of their own homes.
Some high schools are now temporarily open to CSEC and CAPE students who need to prepare for their final exams, which begin July. But for all others, the closure, which took effect on March 13 to contain the spread of COVID-19, remains in effect. It means thousands of students at all levels are attending classes from the comfort of their homes. The distance learning measure is undoubtedly helping to keep our children and young people safe, but it does pose a challenge for those who lack access to the resources that make this possible. Some of the most affected are children with special needs, but steps are being taken to alleviate their plight.
Today marks another major milestone for us as we partner with the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, Ministry of Social Security, Labor and Social Security, and the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities. This is to enable 1,000 students with special needs to access their classes online through the use of a SIM-enabled tablet. We are grateful to the Digital Jamaica team for helping us to create a world where no one gets left behind.
On Thursday, June 4, the Digicel Foundation handed over 600 tablets to the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. They will support students registered with the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities. Another 400 were presented to the Education Ministry. The tablets are equipped with 1-year free data plan SIM cards. The kind donation was made after Executive Director of the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, Dr. Christine Hendricks, reached out to the foundation for assistance.
When I spoke with Charmaine, I explained to her the importance of the device and its ability to enable the JAWS software so that our blind students could access. And of course, it had to have the various features to enable persons with varying disabilities to manipulate it. And so the fact that it is that light and it provides access to most or all persons with disabilities with the accessibility features that are there is most heartening. And so I want to say thanks to Digicel Foundation, because the truth is technology bridges the gap and levels the playing field for all.
During the ceremony, members of government expressed thanks to Digicel Foundation for partnering to ensure learning continues for all.
We truly appreciate the donation. I'm told what started out as a request for data and a few tablets has mushroomed into this. And I think for that we have to really express true appreciation to Digicel for their generosity.
Our children with disabilities, yes, they have disabilities, but they still have the ability. And it is for us all as stakeholders in the education sector to ensure that our children with disabilities, that they continue to be a part of our learning environment.
Building on that, the Ministry of Education will be distributing 40,000 tablet computers across the island shortly. And the State Minister says that through partnership with eLearning Jamaica, an additional 60,000 tablets are being sourced to ensure that learning continues for even more children.
As COVID-19 continues to linger, parents and guardians are inevitably spending more time with their children at home. Now, this is an opportunity to nurture those relationships and instill even more positive values and attitudes in the children. In our next feature, the National Parenting Support Commission shares how we can do this through proper parenting.
Wouldn't it be great if children came into the world so well adjusted or with manuals, therefore eliminating the need for parental discipline? This is not the case, however. Parents usually apply their methods or they depend on strategies taught throughout generations to guide their children.
8 in 10 Jamaican children in the 2 to 14 years age group experience violence as a form of discipline.
Coercive parenting involves the physical administration of pain as punishment. It also includes the use of harsh language that has the potential to hurt children's feelings and affect their general self-esteem and development. It also fosters aggression, because what you're really teaching children is that when there is an issue, we must resolve the issue through harshness, through aggression, through coarse language. There's a direct correlation between coercive parenting and the aggression that we see actually in society.
Damaging disciplinary practices have moved outside of the home and into the national consciousness.
The time has come for the Parliament to have a debate on this issue and finally declare corporal punishment at an end, both within public institutions and as a means of discipline available to parents. I think it would be a forward-leaning step in making a stance against violence generally, and it would send a powerful message about the state respecting the inviolability of the person, whether or not that person is a child or an adult.
Children need guidance, and many wonder if not with the rod, then how? Enter the National Parenting Support Commission, NPSC, an agency of the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. The ministry established the commission in 2012 to provide parents with the requisite skills and tools to raise children.
We work at 3 tiers. We work at home, school, and community. Our first and most important priority, however, is to ensure that we're fostering the home-school relationship. We must ensure that parents as key stakeholders feel involved in the entire process of educating their children.
Now, to do this, the Commission assists parents in several ways, including providing psychosocial support, assisting parents with understanding the teaching-learning process, and conducting parenting education programs.
Through our effective parenting courses, we push proactive strategies. In other words, you are going to put structures in place before behaviors that you don't desire actually show.
Parents and guardians should consider the child's developmental stage when determining the best method of guidance.
A child who is very young, we encourage play. The child must be playing, and even the teaching learning processes must include play, because this is how they develop their imagination, their creative skills. This is how they also learn to resolve issues and to problem solve.
Young children, especially infants, are at the stage where they don't know right from wrong, and they can be impulsive. They may touch items that are valuable or dangerous. Usually, it is best to remove the child or the object from such a situation.
We don't believe you're to spank any at all, because that's a part of coercive parenting, and we don't believe that coercive parenting works. So what we encourage you to do, though, is to be firm and to be consistent. So if it means you have to say, do this instead, or do not go there a million times, then that's what you have to be prepared to do.
The teenage years can challenge both children and parents. With the physical and chemical changes happening in the body, teens may act out as they may be unsure of their place in the world.
This can be a very difficult time to navigate. So we ask that you start relaxing some of the very stringent rules, and you also have conversations and you compromise.
And to address challenges, caregivers can remove privileges.
If the child becomes stubborn, has a fixed mindset, if you will, that this is what he or she is going to continue to do, then you might need professional help. You might need to call the commission, or you might need to call a social worker or a guidance counselor to help.
Being a proactive parent means setting clear boundaries, letting children know what is acceptable behaviors and why rules are in place. And don't forget to model behaviors you want young ones to display. There may not be a one-size-fits-all for raising children. By assessing the right information and using effective parenting techniques, we can nurture adults willing to play their part in making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. To tap into information from the National Parenting Support Commission, call 876-967-7977 or visit their offices at 37 Arnold Road, Kingston 6.
If you've been in contact with a person confirmed with or suspected of having COVID-19 and is now feeling sick or displaying symptoms of coughing, sneezing, runny nose, sore throat, fever, or difficulty breathing, here is what you need to do. Self-isolate, stay at home, and call or ask someone to contact the Ministry of Health and Wellness through one of its COVID-19 helplines. Follow the Health Ministry's instructions. Numbers to call are 888-754-7792 or 888-1-LOVE, that is 888-663-5683. Additional numbers to call are 876-542-5998, 876-542-6007, and 876-542-6006. If you are sick, don't create the chance for infection spread by going out in public spaces, using public transport, or just turning up at the doctor or hospital. Do your part to help prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Up next are the latest updates on government's comprehensive response plan to COVID-19.
The current case numbers are as follows. 8 new samples have tested positive for COVID-19. That's 8 new samples in the last 24 hours. Total number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in Jamaica is now 715. The new cases are imported, having arrived recently on flights from North America, from the USA.
From the 1st of June to the 30th of June, we saw over 12,000 persons coming into the country, an average of 5 flights, 410 passengers per day. And out of that number of persons, we had 82 persons that were positive, which was a 0.7% positive rate. There were a bit of challenges that we encountered during that period of time, in that we had to have large deployment of staff to the airport, and a large amount of resources were spent in testing. As we looked to July, we were anticipating, with the increased opening up of the borders, that there were in excess of 700 flights that were scheduled to come in with over 50,000 passengers. Based on the demand that we would have expected at the airports, we recognized that it was not possible for the health staff to be able to manage to do all of that testing. However, we fully understand that a process of screening needed to continue, and so we had to look carefully at what was the process that we needed to put in as of July 1 to have some screening of persons coming in, so that we could continue to safeguard our country against an increasing number of cases. So on the screen you see the first slide that is now looking at the controlled entry of persons during the period July 1 to 31st. So first of all, a registration and approval is required, and residents of Jamaica are required to register on the Jam COVID site. Non-residents are to register on the Visit Jamaica site. And a travel authorization evidencing that registration and approval will be required for passengers to check in when they are to board their flights. Upon arrival in Jamaica, all persons will be subject to a health screening and a risk assessment by the Jamaican health authorities. The government of Jamaica has modified its risk-based protocols that will determine testing and quarantine requirements for arriving persons. In terms of pre-testing, we have looked at pre-testing, and you have seen in the public space that pre-testing is back on the table for us to have this as a screening measure for persons that are non-nationals that are coming into the country, especially from areas that we have seen an increase in the number of cases recently. So who will be pre-tested? Non-residents, excepting for business travelers visiting Jamaica, aged 12 and over, who are residents of locations designated as high risk, will be required to obtain a COVID-19 PCR test within 10 days prior to their intended date of travel to Jamaica. Now, please note that this list of high-risk locations is subject to ongoing reassessment and could therefore change. And as we see daily, we are seeing changes that are occurring on the global landscape, and we will change these high-risk locations as needed.
We want to, from public health, emphasize that we still have a risk, a going concern a clear and present danger, and it's requiring of all of us to play our role in managing the process, taking on personal responsibility, and working with each other, because as we like to say, everyone counts in this fight against COVID-19. So the outbreak is not over to all Jamaicans. Let's play our part. Maintain a physical distance. We've said 6 feet from each other. Staying at home where you can, and in relation to the stay-at-home orders, observing the protocols around isolating yourself or quarantining yourself, avoiding crowds, still emphasizing that once you can. If you can't, of course, wearing masks when physical distancing is not possible, such as in crowded situations. Frequently washing and sanitizing hands and cleaning of surfaces where droplets may fall. And of course, obeying quarantining and isolation orders as given by the public health authorities.
As of today, Friday, July 3, the top 10 finalists in the 2020 Jamaica Festival Song Competition are available for download or streaming on worldwide music subscription services Spotify and Deezer for the first time in history. The top 10 entries are also now available for pre-order purchases on iTunes, Apple Music, and Amazon Music services. The move forms part of the Ministry of Culture's effort to revitalize Jamaica's Festival Song Competition. It is also in keeping with restrictions on public gatherings because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The winning Jamaica Festival song for 2020 will be decided by the public on July 26 by popular vote. So, what are you waiting on? Download, order, and stream the top 10 festival songs today so that you can play your part in selecting your favorite finalist in the coming weeks.
An important message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. What to do if you think you have been exposed or are experiencing signs and symptoms of COVID-19. Immediately call 888-1-LOVE. That's 888-663-5683. In addition, you should stay at home. Don't go to work, school, or any public place. Do not use public transport, and avoid visitors to your home. You may need to do this for up to 14 days to reduce the spread of the infection. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
And that's all we have for you on today's show. Thanks for staying with us for another edition of Jamaica Magazine. If you enjoyed what you saw today, do remember that you can rewatch the show on our website, jis.gov.jm, and on our YouTube channel, and please subscribe. Don't forget that you are also able to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for other informative features and updates. I'm Theodore Henry. Until next time, walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.